Breaking news alert. President Donald Trump has ordered airstrikes on North Korea. The Pentagon has just reported. Aircraft from U.S. naval carriers in the region, bombers from Guam, and other aircraft from Japan are taking part in these airstrikes. Targets include North Korean positions north of the DMZ, Pyongyang, and the Punggye-ri nuclear test site. This is a breaking news story, and we will update you with more information as it becomes available.
Pentagon sources say U.S. airstrikes have targeted Kim Jong-un in Pyongyang. The unnamed official stated, several airstrikes have been conducted in Pyongyang and other locations targeting the senior leadership of the DPRK, including Kim Jong-un. The results of these strikes is still unknown.
Multiple reports are coming in stating Seoul is under intense artillery fire. The South Korean government has declared martial law and advised all residents of Seoul to take cover immediately. One report states some of the artillery shells hitting South Korea's capital may be chemical shells, meaning they are shells filled with poison chemicals such as VX nerve agent. However, these reports have not been confirmed.
The Pentagon has announced North Korea has fired a barrage of ballistic missiles at South Korea. Other reports state the sheer number of missiles fired assures some will sneak through the US and South Korean air defenses.
This is Seth Jenkins reporting from Seoul. Seoul is under intense artillery fire. I was on my way back downtown when a series of sirens began going off. Before I could make it into the subway for cover, artillery shells began falling on Seoul. I saw a direct hit on a crowd of people about a block away from the US Embassy. I counted more than 30 dead bodies before I could get into the subway to get under cover. We are now hearing that some of the shells are chemical shells. My colleague Bruce Matthews has just grabbed a couple of gas masks and I'm going to try to put those on now.
여보세요, 나가세요. 피하세요.
Alright, I gotta move on a little deeper into the subway here. I'll try to call back into the station if I get a chance.
We are receiving reports of a major strike on a U.S. airbase in South Korea. It is being reported that Kunsan Air Base has been struck by 2 ballistic missiles. Kunsan Air Base is located on the west coast of the South Korean peninsula bordered by the Yellow Sea. It is at the town of Gunsan about 150 miles south of Seoul. At this time, there is no report on casualties.
This is Seth Jenkins. U.S. and South Korean counter-battery fire and airstrikes are reducing the North Korean gun positions that are currently firing on Seoul. The rate of North Korean shell fire has reduced substantially in the last few minutes. We are currently taking cover in the subway. I just talked with a South Korean military officer who told me they had no warning that a North Korean attack was imminent. I have no information on casualties, but judging from what I saw before I arrived in the subway, I would expect the casualties to be in the thousands.
Japanese government officials have reported naval units of the Japanese Defense Forces have engaged North Korean ships in the Sea of Japan. Also, Japanese government officials hinted that they had prior knowledge of the US airstrikes on North Korea.
Seth Jenkins reporting from Seoul. I received an update from a U.S. Embassy official. He told me this morning the United States launched a massive airstrike on the DPRK. The objective of the strike was to decapitate the leadership of North Korea, destroy their ability to deploy nuclear weapons, and to destroy the North's ability to target South Korea and Japan. It appears U.S. forces were unable to hit all of the North's guns and missiles with the initial strike, but now that they have exposed their positions by firing on the South, U.S. and Republic of Korea forces are now methodically targeting and destroying those threats to the South. Also, it has been reported that South Korean armed forces have begun advancing into North Korea along the west coast of the peninsula. Again, South Korean forces have begun advancing into North Korea, This seems to show the South Korean government was given at least some advance notice of the US strike.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has released a statement condemning the American attack on the DPRK. President Trump always intended to deal with North Korea using military means. The statement continues, "The blood that will flow from this aggressive and unnecessary act will fall squarely on Mr. Trump's hands."
China has rushed another 100,000 troops to the North Korean border. Reports are coming in of a mass exodus of North Koreans into China. This has long been a possibility China has been fearful of.
This is Seth Jenkins reporting from Seoul. It's almost midnight here in the capital. I'll give you an update on where things stand one day into the Second Korean War. The sound of outgoing artillery can still be heard. Occasional explosions are still heard in the city. All hospitals in Seoul are filled to capacity. Able citizens are asked to donate blood to help with the casualties. Thousands of citizens have been killed and wounded from conventional weapons and chemical weapons launched by the North Koreans. 10 U.S. warplanes have been lost over the north. At least 100 U.S. airmen have been killed in a ballistic missile attack on Kunsan Air Base. Japan is reporting North Korea has launched ballistic missiles at their nation. No word on Japanese casualties as of yet. As I reported earlier, the South Korean army made a modest advance into North Korea up the west coast. This was done so South Korean troops could support naval forces engaging North Korean forces in the Yellow Sea. Today was the day the world has dreaded since 1953. Today was certainly the bloodiest day in this century so far, and possibly one of the bloodiest days in world history. And this was only day one of this war. Who knows how many dead tomorrow will bring.